Hi everyone, welcome to this video on how to create isometric circles using a sketching technique. The method I showed yesterday was more for if you were drawing using traditional drawing board equipment, and a couple of people emailed to ask for a wee bit of clarification on that, and I thought rather than doing it individually I'd create a new video. So what's happening here is I've come in and I'm just going to start this drawing again. I'm going to create it out. Remember, do your creating first and then you can do your outlines. If you make your create lines longer than they need to be, then you can come back in with the eraser later on and you can just rub them out. So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking a measurement from the left hand side on the plan, and I'm trying to find out where the circle starts. So that's 30, so I'll set my angle of my ruler to 30. I'll just bring it across here and I'll pop on I'll mark it 30 there, just to where the back of the object is. Change my ruler to 30 degrees going the other way, and because the radius of this is 15, I've just marked on 15 and then another 15 from there to give me 30, and that gives me how wide the thing is. I'm just going to project these lines up, and I'm going to skip ahead now and do most of the creating as a time lapse, and I'll join you back when I'm ready to do the circle. Okay, so what I've done here is I've created a crate, a rectangle that the circle's going to fit in, and the one at the top here is the top of the crate. So I'm going to just go ahead now and mark on where the centre point is. So 15mm from the edge gives me there, and I'll connect this line down to here. And what we're actually doing, the line that we're drawing out is that line there, the centre line. Now for sketching, it's okay to line these up and join up the corners. Because you know the start point and the end point, like I said yesterday, of a line, then you can go ahead and just join them up. Now, usually when you're doing a drawing method, we draw the box right around the circle. So this is what we've created here. And usually 12 points around a full circle will give us enough information that we can plot a curve accurately. However, when you're sketching, it's quite difficult to do the 12 points, so we can get away with just having 1 point at the start of the curve and we can follow that right up. So what I've done there is I've halved the line, I've halved each of the diagonal lines that join up the squares, and I've gone from corner to corner and divided that in two and then divided it in two again. Now I'm projecting these lines down to add on a thickness, and I'm just curving that line right round, and that gives us what looks like a half cylinder. I'm going to skip ahead now and draw out the isometric of the block on end after I've outlined this one, and I'll do the rest of that in time lapse again. Okay, so now we're back in action. I'm going to change colour here to show you what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is sketching out a rectangle here that's going to contain the points for the circle. And if you treat this like a work plane, like you would on Inventor, then you're popping the new sketch of the circle directly on that work plane. I'm going to go from here, there and there. You don't need the two other lines that I've done, but just make that into two squares and then connect the corners up that way. And the same thing as before, we'll just divide these in half and then half again. So that half there and half again. And the half lines up nicely where the other line crosses over it. And then half from there to the corner again gives us enough points, and then we can sketch in where the circle is. And if we project lines back at 30 degrees from each of these points and then measure the 15 down them, that gives us where the points are again. Now when you're sketching out curves like this, it's useful to not look at the end of your pencil, because then you're focused on where your pencil is and not where it's going. So if you look ahead to where the next point you're drawn towards is, then you can see a bit easier and you'll draw cleaner curves like that. So I'm just plotting these points here now, and I can start to draw going from there to that line, to that point, and to that point finally. I'm going to skip ahead and do the outline of this in time lapse again, and I'll join you back at the end. And there you go, a very hastily and sloppily outline sketch of the block on its end shown by here, and the isometric view block on base is shown by that arrow there. Hopefully that helps. Looking ahead, this should be roughly what it looks like. Again, I sketched this out quickly without any creating, but you remember to create and then add details before outlining. And this is drawing number 4. Again, you're equipped with the skills to do this. Just make sure you're out creating first.